everybody, thanks for joining us and welcome to the 10th episode of Fight Like the Movies, the tutorial series where we study cinema's most epic fight scenes and employ what we discover to develop a deeper understanding of film combat. I'm your host, TJ Cencula. This week's episode, The Last Samurai, a 2003 film directed by Edward Zwick, stunt coordination by Nick Powell. Rock and roll it! This film takes the audience on an in-depth journey into the cinematic slash-centric Japanese samurai style through the eyes of a washed-up Western soldier. The combat sequences serve far more than to simply slake our lust for action. They frequently reveal critical character traits, advance the plot, and communicate a character's growth and development. The kendo sequences depict the perfect combination of power and restraint. The target area is largely concentrated on the upper body, and the action unfolds very quickly. The combatants don't squeeze the grips of their swords like they're trying to choke them. The ideal grip is relaxed but firm. I liken it to how one might grasp a baby bird. Tight enough to protect it, but not so tight you throttle the life from it. The use of slow motion is not so much to exaggerate or augment reality, but rather to symbolically represent centeredness, contrast with previous very fast-moving action, and probably to give us a longer look at our stars. While the sword work is amazing and impressive, nothing tells a story quite like a face. The ninja sneak attack serves to starkly contrast the combat code of the samurai. For the purposes of this story, the samurai sword swings for justice with the utmost honor and deference, whereas the ninjas represent an entirely different code, by any means necessary. They use the element of surprise, the art of deception, guile, all manner of concealed weapons, projectiles, and they don't think twice about stabbing in the back, or attempting to chop down children. The distinct tactics and maneuvers employed by each character artfully communicates a lot more nuanced information about who these people are than one might fully realize at first swipe. But we absorb this information on a subconscious level whether we realize it or not. Throughout the course of this fight-filled film, Tom Cruise's character is portrayed as a survivor. He fights with flags, tables, fists, feet, whatever else he finds within arm's reach. His survival instincts are so acute, he lives through one death-defying situation after another. The irony is, while his body is a sharp and finely tuned living weapon, he's spiritually dead. That is until the samurai way gives him something to fight for that means more than just living. Time to meet the class. Tighten those top knots. It's time for action. For our class fight today, we're using the choreography to tell a story. So some of the techniques that we use to make it look distinctly The Last Samurai in style is we replicated some of the parry postures that they employ in this film. For example, a lot of Western sword fighting, you have the tip of the weapon pointed upwards to protect your upper body. It's creating a wall of defense on this side. However, very commonly in this film, the same wall is produced, but the tip of the weapon is pointed down. Then it also allows us to use a very cool technique that a lot of fight coordinators employ to help visually tell this story, and it's also a pretty cool way to get a strong match on action for your editor. It goes like this. If we have the weapon up with the blade between our faces, as we're making this parry, we could very easily just push it across our bodies like this and be just as effective. However, if we do a moulinet in between and let the blade pass through this space, we're achieving the same parry, but what it does for us is allow the camera to have this action that almost no matter where you play it, there's a very strong motion of the blade that allows the camera to follow between cuts. Because we have, in a lot of these films, very big stars with very handsome faces, you want to pull the camera in close so that you can constantly check in with your characters. No matter what the sword is doing, your primary storytelling tool is this, the 8x10, your face. That's what they're paying to see. So, if we can move the camera in closer and still see an action of the blade, more's the better. Also, in the sport of kendo, which is very similar to the style of fighting that's used in this movie, your targets are primarily waist up. You'll attack the vital organs more often than not. So you have body on this side, and then the head. Our fight does follow that model, so we didn't really do any leg attacks, so no need for jumps or things of that nature in this fight. But what that does do is shape the fight in a specific way so that we have movements that all can happen within a very confined target area, which gives you a series of tempo changes. And when you texture the fight with attack, parry, and riposte from different postures and different positions, it allows you to have a fight where it doesn't sound like a metronome where you're going. It's more like ching, ching, cha-ching, ching. And for our ear, it makes it sound like it's more spontaneous and that it's unfolding in the moment instead of like a piano recital where you're following the tempo on every beat. There should be a life force, there should be a pulse in your fight, but it shouldn't sound like the drums of a marching band. It should sound like the drums of war. Everybody worked really hard, stayed focused throughout the entire class, had a lot of fun, and the fights looked great. I want to issue a special thanks to Taylor Jeffers, Jason Wilson, Diana Restrepo, Adam Kahn, and Victor Cervantes for sticking around for our after-hour shoot. And also, this episode is extra special because it features my wife, Natalie Shea Cencula. She was awesome. That, my friends, is a wrap. Hey, thanks for watching. Now I know what you're thinking. I don't want to miss a single video. You need do nothing more than click that subscribe button right there. Like this video while you're at it. And why not go back and check out the first 9 videos. Also follow us on Facebook, interact with the class, see behind the scenes pictures and videos, and let us know what movies you want to see covered in a future episode of Fight Like the Movies. One of these weeks, you are going to get up the courage, grab that sword, and come on down to Swordplay Studios in Burbank, California, and join in this fight. We would absolutely love to see you there. And bring a friend or an enemy. All skill levels welcome. And that just about covers it. And cut.